Welcome back to CRG. This week we're going to take a look at these two 5¼ inch floppy drives. I picked these up from eBay recently. Cost me only £15 for the two of them delivered. Still are bargains to be had out there on the bay. They are spares repairs though, so let's see if we can't get one of them, or hopefully both of them, working. So both of these are 1.2 megabyte high density drives. This one is from Mitsumi Electric Company Limited. That's stamped into the top cover here, although I doubt you'll be able to make it out on the video. Yes, it needs a bit of a clean, but this drive certainly seems complete. The locking mechanism works fine. We have a direct drive motor, so no belts to worry about. Don't really see anything wrong with this, so other than a bit of a clean, hopefully this drive will work. This one, on the other hand, there's no manufacturer's label on this drive, but if we Google the part number here, DS53N, that tells us that this is a Safronix drive. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. Direct drive again, which is good. Again, the locking mechanism seems fine. Quite dirty and quite a bit of yellowing here. You can see in behind that locking mechanism just how white that is compared to the rest of it. But this drive has suffered quite a knock. Two of these pins here are completely missing, and there's a crack in the PCB that starts in this corner here, crosses that ground trace, follows that up to about there, and then runs out to about that position. So I think we will put this drive to the side for now and concentrate on this one. Let's just get this taken apart. So seemingly just these two screws holding on this top shield. Yep. Just notice that says IBM PC on it. Did this drive perhaps come out of an IBM? Who knows? Right, what will we take off next? Can we get this front off? Usually these just pull off, but it doesn't seem to want to budge. There it goes. There we are. And then it seems as if there's just these two screws here. I then just want to try and drop off all the circuit boards and the motor. Just trying to figure out how the motor is actually held on. I'll hopefully let the motor come out now. Yep, that's that. But need to remove these two as well. These three boards are connected by these ribbons here, which cannot be disconnected without desoldering them, and I'd rather not if I don't have to. Need to disconnect these ribbons that go to the drive heads. And we need to disconnect this. Onto the stepper motor, come on. Right. Yeah, where did that come from? So I'm not going to disconnect the drive heads because I don't want to upset their alignment. That said though, I think I just figured out where this came from, because there's another one there holding that rail on. That came out of there holding that side of the rail, and as you can see, the drive heads are now moving, so we may as well just remove them. If anything, that'll let us give it a more thorough clean. There's the heads. In fact, I'm saying these are high density drives, but no, it is. Well, certainly double-sided anyway. I was wondering just with the single ribbon, perhaps it was only a single-sided head, but it's not. There's heads on both sides in there. Do I want to remove the stepper motor? I don't think I do, if I'm being honest with you. Just because the position of that can be changed. There's room here to slide that back and forward. I think I'll just leave well enough alone when it comes to that. Let's remove this little sensor here. And then just want to remove all the rest of this cabling, and then I can give it all a really good clean. Right, that is enough shaky desk cam footage. It does give you a slightly better viewing angle in the video, you can see overhead, but the fact that the camera keeps shaking every time I touch the desk, I'm sure you get motion sickness watching it. So all I'm going to do to clean this is just a bit of degreaser, microfiber cloth. Let's get rid of all the dust and grime on the metal bits. When it comes to cleaning the PCBs, it's just going to be a bit of IPA and cotton buds. That's about as clean as I can get most of that for now. I noticed while just cleaning this power connector here that these 2 points here, pads, are completely ripped off, but all that's doing is like a strap that goes over the Molex connector to hold it in place. I'll see about maybe just putting a bit of wire or something on that. Just make it off onto that trace there again, just to hold it, because as you can see it is a little bit loose. But at this point here, the connection also looks a bit dodgy. Certainly lots of corrosion on the board. Just want to bail that out quickly to make sure that it's still okay. So from that point there through to that pin, yeah, that's alright. Let's just check the other ones while we're here. That's all okay. But as I say, I'm just going to put a bit of wire or a leg of something, maybe a leg of a resistor or something, from there across onto what's left of the trace, just to try and give that a little bit of support. As for cleaning the heads themselves, you can hopefully see that they are very dirty. Both sides of them, absolutely stinking. So all we do is cotton bud, dip it in our IPA, and give these a clean. Just working side to side. And as you can see, it takes off quite a bit of that dirt. Looking good as new. Just time to put it all back together. That's the drive mostly back together again, but just before we put the top cover on, we are going to have to lubricate some of this. So time for a bit of white lithium grease. Like a painter's radio. So all I'm doing is getting a bit of this stuff, and we need to put it on the stepper motor. We also need to coat this rail down in here that the drive heads move on. But also on these 5 1/4 inch drives, this mechanism here, that as you can see lowers this clamp down to, clamp onto the disc. I just want to put a little bit of our grease here where the plastic is rubbing on the metal. And also just a little bit on this plastic here. There actually is a bit of a notch worn in this, but hopefully it's alright. A little bit of grease will help stop any more wear on it. Okay, I just have to tidy up a little bit of that overspray. It does come out of this tin far too quickly. The spray tin seemed like a good idea at the time, but in reality I think a little tube of this stuff would be far better. I don't think I have that on right. So yes, it was fitted right, but this bracket here was actually bent up slightly at this point. There's a little arm that comes out of it here that sits onto the notches on the stepper motor, so that when the stepper motor turns, it can move the sled back and forward. But with that bent before, that little arm was loose and you could very easily move this sled back and forward. Everything is nice and tight now though, so hopefully that is this drive sorted. I'm not going to fit the top cover just yet. What I think we'll do is crack out the 486 system, hook this up and put it to the test. So that's a drive hooked up to the 486. I've just temporarily disconnected this drive, so only have the 5 1/4 inch on the ribbon cable here. Had to change the monitor. The other Philips monitor, which I really do like, I think it just fits this space better. Unfortunately, doesn't like the 486. Don't really know why. The screen flickers on it. Works fine on every other system. Don't know. Anyway, let's put it to the test. Well, no explosions. That's always good. And let's jump into the BIOS. I'm going to change this from 1.44 megabytes 3.5 inch to 1.2 megabytes 5 1/4. Drive A error. Why is it doing that? Do you know what it is? It's this ribbon cable. The 5 1/4 inch drive connector is before the twist, so the PC would be seeing that as drive B. That's what it is. So floppy A, let's just select not installed, and then floppy B, we'll set that to 1.2 megabytes. Let's see if it works this time. Let's see if we get a drive seek. Well, it was kind of noisy, but yep, it's seeked. Let's just see if we can do anything with it. Now, unfortunately, I don't actually have any 1.2 megabyte high density discs. All I have are these double-sided double density discs. These are only 360k. But we still should be able to take one of these and at least try and format it on this drive. Let me just have a quick look. So what I need to do here, I'm going to tell it to format the size as 360k. No. /4. Format a 5 1/4 inch 360k floppy disk in a high density drive. That's the one I need. So format B /4. I had a good old think about it there for a minute, but seemingly working. Okay, that seems to have worked. Let's try and copy something across to it. What to copy though? How about a MIDI file? One of our ultrasound MIDI files. Try and copy that across to the disk and then try and play it back off the disk. We'll do that. Probably could copy all of them actually, but we'll just copy one. Techno 78. Okay, one file copied. Need to plug in speakers. And select the B drive. There it is. Let's see if we can play it back. Yeah, it's a bit loud. So, seemingly, this drive is good. This drive though, what are we going to do with it? Well, firstly, I'm going to strip it down just the same way I did the other drive and give everything a clean, lubricate the various rails, clean the heads and whatnot. But also need to have a think about how I'm going to address the damage on this. I think what I'll do is give it all clean first, and then we'll have a look at this. So I was just in the middle of stripping this drive down, and unfortunately we've hit a massive problem that has just put this completely out of action. One of the heads is missing. Just take this apart quickly to give you a better look at it. And as you can see, that head has been completely ripped off. That one's still there. But with that one missing, there's nothing we can do to bring that drive back to life. So there's probably no point in even trying to repair this circuit board. I mean, I suppose I could do it and at least power the drive on and see if the logic and all works, but what's the point really? Because where are you ever going to find one of these other than in another 5 1/4 inch floppy drive? A little bit disappointing. So I've just put the 46 rig back together, and our working 5 1/4 inch floppy drive can live in here. I was originally intending using this grey floppy drive in another machine, which would have suited that colour better, and then the other beige one was going to go in here if I could have got it working, but with that head wrecked, there's nothing we can do. So hopefully when this machine posts, we'll get both drive seeks, drive A first, then drive B. One very noisy, clunky old floppy drive. I wouldn't have it any other way. Earlier in the video, we just copied the one MIDI file across to this disk. How about this time we try and fill the disk with all the MIDI files from that directory? The MIDI files total 317 bytes. Sorry, 317,000 bytes. Let's try and copy all of them across onto the disk. Okay, all copied fine. Let's try and play a different one back this time. There they are. How about a bit of swing cafe? Yep, that's working fine. I think we can call that drive a success. It is a bit unfortunate that I don't have a 1.2 megabyte disk to try on it, the high density disk, but it's reading and writing the double density disks fine. I dare say it would read and write a high density disk also fine. Bit disappointed with this drive. I actually went back and checked the original eBay listing, and the only thing it mentioned in that was the damage to this board. Didn't mention anything about the heads, but I suppose maybe the seller didn't even know, considering that they're underneath this metal shield. Makes me wonder how it even got damaged like that in the first place. Oh well, it is what it is. And to be perfectly honest with you, if somebody had have offered me just the one 5¼ inch floppy drive for £15, that's what I paid for the two of them, I probably would have jumped at it. So I'm happy enough at that. Well, that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed what you've seen. If you did, I would appreciate a thumbs up, as it does help the channel. Why not subscribe if you haven't done so already? Still plenty more here to come on CRG, and I'll see you next time.